Greetings, brethren, and welcome back to the How to Get Better at Chess series, where I, the Chess Crusader, will be playing against people on chess.com, explaining my own moves, my thoughts, and my game plans in order to help you get better at chess. So, without further ado, let's get into a 10-minute game here against, we got boss plays from India. Very cool. We're not going to play any opening theory in general. It's just like a how to get better at chess by knowing what are good moves and what are bad moves. So we'll start with c4 here. Start with the move. We'll see what my opponent does. Okay, he wants to, trade this pawn in the center. I don't think this is a very good move. Why? Because he's trading one of his center pawns for one of my side pawns. And then when he brings out his queen to, recapture, I can get my knight out with development and tempo on the queen. So that's not a very good move, in my opinion. See, brings the queen out, and now I get my knight out with tempo, and his queen's got to go somewhere else. He's probably just going to put it back on the home square, and then I have two center pawns and already a massive lead in development. Okay, so he goes here. I'll just probably just take the center here. Why not? Defended by my queen. Okay, he moves this knight. Doesn't actually do much. Like, he tries to put pressure on the pawn. We can try to push, and then his knight has to go somewhere else because, it's defended by both the knight and the queen. But we'll just keep everything nice and tight by bringing out this knight here, which helps me develop and just helps me in general. So next we'll want to bring out these pawns, so then we can move out our bishops here. So might as well just take the center with both pieces, because these are both defended by these knights and double defended by the queen as well. Okay, so he tries to put a pin on the knight here. That's perfectly reasonable. So now he's trying to win this pawn in the center here. But we can just push this first, because if we do nothing, let's say we try to defend the knight, then he'll take back, and then he'll get the pawn in the center. But if we do this first, then he has to move the knight out of... he's got to move the knight out of there, so it doesn't attack anything anymore. And so after this move, then we can go here. Okay. So he's just trying to put more pressure on this knight. That's totally fine. I don't want to lose... I can't take back because I don't want to lose my queen, but the queen and the bishop both defend this knight quite well. And now this knight hangs, so he basically has to take it. Okay, he doesn't. So that's just a hanging knight, entirely, so I will take it. That's a pretty decent mistake for up at 1,000 level, I would say, but... Okay, sure, goes here. Maybe his idea is to try to do something with the pawn, but I don't quite see it. Because do I want to take here first? Probably, because then I have discovered attack. Okay, here's the thing. I have discovered attacks on the king with my queen at the end of the day. Because, let's say here, let's say takes, and then takes back here or something like that, I can just move my knight somewhere and get a piece. So, at the end of the day, I can try to get this rook in the corner, or if I can try to bait this queen to a spot where I can take advantage of it. I can't really, though. Not in this case, at least. So, I think a good plan of action is just going to be... Well, we can develop as well. So there's some tricks, but developing here is good because then he can't take with anything afterwards because it's just pinned to his queen. So we could try that as well. But with his king in the center, there's some big problems here. I think I'll just develop my bishop. Not a problem at all. But yeah, with taking here, and if he takes back, I probably could have won the rook, which would have been very good. But we'll just play it nice and simple for now. So, there were some ideas. This doesn't really do anything, actually. So he's trying to defend the knight. But now I can just take this, because he can't take back with his knight. And it also attacks the queen, is the thing. So the knight is pinned, it can't go anywhere. Well, it's a relative pin. You can still obviously take this, but then you lose your queen. Okay. So my opponent does this. Yeah, it takes the knight. That's totally fine because it was undefended. But now I can like take this with threat on the queen and then go over here. I have some checking ideas. Like this this fork is still pretty good. Like I'll go here. We'll see what he does. Okay. So now his idea is to try and like use this queen to defend like this square. But if I go here, then it'll attack his queen, and he has to put his queen somewhere else. So we'll go here, because this is all defended. I think his only move is to go here. Potentially it could be here, but it's still looking quite well for me. Okay, so he goes there. We can put some threats, like we can bring our queen out over here. That's a pretty good idea. Like our knight is pretty strong right here. For instance, check, and if he goes forward to block, then we can just take this pawn, and then we won't lose our knights, because then we can just take his rook with check. So this looks like a good move to me, so I will play it. Because this isn't really a fork, it's because I can take this pawn right here. I think we could have done something better with the setup we had over here. I think I kind of fumbled it a tiny bit, but that is okay. We'll check it out in the game review, and we'll see. We're just playing solid moves, right? Just trying to be solid, a bit more solid in general. So we'll see what my opponent wants to do here. The issue is that he hasn't castled yet. I haven't castled yet either, but he has no meaningful checks on me. And I can always try to castle to get out of danger. But it looks pretty good for me so far. Because yeah, this doesn't really work because I just have this, and then there's too many hanging things, and he can't defend everything well. This fork with the knight is still a really big problem for him, and if not, at the end of the day, I can still take this pawn. So yeah, probably had a bit of a better idea way back before. Okay, so he does this. This just fails because I get this fork at the end of the day. Because see here, take, and I get this fork. So we'll just do this here, and then we get the knight. I mean, sorry, the rook. Okay, so I can't castle anymore, but this doesn't really matter because we're in an endgame now. So I can just bring up my king to kind of try and protect all of these pawns. So I must be careful about I must be careful just about putting my my kings and my rooks on dark squares together. But so now that he has a dark squared bishop, we can just be like, okay, let's try to keep everything not on a dark square, just so that the bishop can't actually do anything. So what I'm going to do is just bring this rook over here with a check, and then probably try to double my rooks. So I'll go here, probably here, double my rooks, and then just try to munch on all of these pawns. So we'll go here. Yeah, just try to get my pawns and stuff on light squares so that this bishop can't do anything. And if possible, try to trade the rook. And then we'll just go to town, right? Because his pawns are all isolated. Every single one of his pawns is isolated. I have a whole bunch of pawns working together, and that's very powerful for me. So I'm definitely in a completely winning position. Completely winning. Next move, stack the rooks, get a rook on the file, and then try to get the pawns on the back here. And if he wants to trade like his rook to prevent that, then we're just going to be doing well. Okay, so he's trying to push a pawn there. We're not going to really care about that because it doesn't really do anything. He's not going anywhere. We're just going to get our rooks on the file, and now he can't even trade them anymore. So this is definitely good for us. Okay, so he gets his rook back there. Now it's playing defense. We will still get our rook on the file here. Keep everything on a light square. Okay, so he's trying to defend all of that. But now we can try to just break through here, I think. That will be our game plan. So what do we want to do? Well, So we have these pawns. We can try to push them forward. I probably would. It's not totally clear how to do that, but we will push these like this. Just here. There could be a better way to do this, but it seems perfectly reasonable in my opinion. Okay, so he does that. I think we'll just completely ignore that pawn push. He wants me to take it or do something with it, but there's really no reason to do any of that. I thought he'd want me to take so that he can get his rook active, but I don't want that. See, he goes there, but we will just back up the pawn here. Okay, so he wants to, try and get in there with the bishop, but we'll just put our rook on a light square so that he just can't do that. And now his rook is always going to be trapped on this pawn, especially once we move it. Well, we don't want to move it yet, just because then he can try to trade it. But I will just walk over with my king and try to get some pawns. Okay, so he tries to bring that pawn forward. We're just going to ignore it because it doesn't do anything. I'll bring this pawn forward just so we have everything on a on a light square. Just because if I go like this, he could, this. Obviously, I just take, but I don't really care. He wants to super reinforce his bishop. That's totally fine. It doesn't matter. The only way that would matter is if he could get his rook to destroy this pawn back here, but he can't. And his king definitely can't get back there. Okay, he wants to just, sack that. That's totally fine. Okay, so what's his idea now? I'm not entirely sure. I think it's if I take here or something, he can take this pawn and then get the rook, but if we just go here, this pawn protects this rook, and this rook covers every single square here. So the king can't go anywhere, and the only thing that can actually threaten this rook and this pawn is the rook back here. But so now we just don't have to worry about it. And now I can try to walk my king over. We'll do this just because it forces the trade. He has to trade his bishop, basically. Okay, he doesn't do that. But now we do this, and he can't take because I win this whole trade. And his rook can't even stay back here to defend the promotion anymore. So it's looking quite good for me. And his pawns have no play. It's definitely over for him. You got to be careful of tactics. You can't be too confident off the beginning, but we'll see what my opponent does here. Yeah, he really has no play because his pawns are just going nowhere. Okay, so he does this. And now this rook and this pawn just kind of stop everything. So see, now he's just got to move his king, and his king's in a box. So it's, not much play going on for him there. We can probably just pre-move, moving these guys both up all the way. Nah, we don't have to do that to him. We'll just move these pawns up and just do a nice little queen ladder mate, I think. Queen and rook ladder mate. And there we go. That is a game. Good game, rematch? No, thank you. We're just going to look over the analysis now for the game review. We're going to see how well we did. Let's move over to the game review window here. Okay. So, it says we played with 87% accuracy. Game rating, 1750. That's pretty good. Yeah. 30 best moves, that's pretty good. 1 great move. So a pretty standard game, no brilliance, no nothing like that. It did look like we had a bit of an advantage there at the beginning, just from over here that we we didn't throw it away. We were still definitely winning, but there was something there that was a little bit better, but we kept everything solid, and we kept everything good, and it was all well. Okay, so we started here, c4. He does this. This is a book move, but it's already 0.6, and GothamChess would say that this is a horrendous position for grandmasters to be in. Obviously, we're still, we're 1,000 down here, right? So it's not that serious. You can still win from basically most positions, but yeah, just this, it's a bad idea because now I just have, pressure on his queen. to go there. And now we're just up basically a whole point, just right off the beginning, just because he decided to play like that. And we just took our space. Yeah, okay, so we moved this knight there. Good, that was a good move. We had this. Like, let's say we played that move instead. It still thought it was like 1.1. But we played the best move instead, which is like 1.4. Whatever, right? It's still like the lead in developments other than our other ideas there. And yeah, we just take the center. Another best move. Fantastic. He brings the bishop out. And yeah, we played the best move again. Just thinking, okay, his idea is to take this knight so that we have to like take back with the queen or something like that, and then he can get this pawn. Or if we don't take back with the queen, we take back with this pawn, then he can still take this with his knight, because now I can't take back because of the queen, right? Or he could take with this queen and then like, you know. So that's his idea. But so if we just move this pawn so that it's not on the attacking square anymore and he has to move his knight somewhere, then there you go. And then this was another mistake. Like, we're already just out of the opening. We're already up 3 whole points of material, it says. Yeah, so it says it was a bad move with that. Maybe some of you saw a better move. What did it think that the best move was? In the review section here. I forgot to turn it over to that, but that's okay. Says it's a free piece, apparently. Why is this a free piece? Leaves a knight without defenders. Oh, okay. So just like a massive attack you have at the end. Okay. Like, I mean, sure, but none of that is obvious, right? Like, that is a brilliant move, like, for sure. Like, if you play this move, they would say it's brilliant. Like, definitely, right? So, like, this move is played here, but then if you do this, would it say brilliant? No, it doesn't tell you. Okay. Oh, no, it does. Okay, see, there you go. A brilliant move. We missed a brilliant move. Whatever, right? Like, that doesn't really matter. That was, like sacking your queen like that for a massive attack on the king, like all of this. This is not standard at all. So we kept things simple, and that's okay. So, yeah, brilliant move there, but we didn't end up doing that. So we'll go here. Yeah, we moved our bishop here just for the same idea that, like, we can take this knight and all of this right now. So, yeah. And here he just hung his knight entirely. So, yeah, we took it. Obviously, all that's good. Up 5 points of material. The pin on the knight, I went here. Admittedly, I forgot about this knight a little bit, but I also... Well, because I was like, oh, if he takes, I just have this fork. But then I forgot that, like, you know, the queen will cover that square. So, not entirely good. Apparently, we're still up here if we just didn't take the knight. And why is that? What did it think that the better move was? Better move just... Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because we attack the queen and completely remove it from the defense of the square, which we want to fork with our knight. So now, knight defends this, this defends this. Can't even just take here because then, you know, we get the queen. So, yeah, completely crushing move. Completely missed it. That's all right. And yeah, so only like 1.3 up. Still pretty good. Yeah, this was brutal because then I just get this fork, I get the rook. And then yeah, everything on here, just a really good end game. Just, you know, moving all of my pieces onto light squares so the bishop just basically does nothing. Sometimes that's not always the best idea. Sometimes you want to have some play to block a bishop out, but in this case it was just totally fine. Yeah, just moving everything over. This is a really good idea, is this, because the pawn defends the rook. The rook keeps the king in a box, so he can't go anywhere. Kings are very important in endgames, but here, just completely boxed him out. And, yeah, because the rook, the bishop can't do anything to attack this pawn, and neither can this pawn, so the only thing that can get there is a rook. But if the rook ever sees, you know, the other rook, I'll just take it. And then I'm still winning because you simplify in an endgame. And yeah, so we just move our way up here, and then he can't do anything, and we just go over here and make a queen and deliver checkmate by a ladder mate on the back. And there you go. That was a pretty good game, pretty good analysis of a game for chess.com, and hopefully this helps you get better at chess. Just explaining my ideas, explaining my thought processes, and just what to do. All right. Thank you for coming to the video. Thank you for watching the video. I have a Discord link in my bio for YouTube. I also stream on TikTok sometimes. I'm thinking about moving to other places like Twitch and YouTube. Let me know in the comments where you want to see me. I stream, I play against people, live people all the time. We have a great time. We chat. There's music. It's a fun time. All right, so see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and Godspeed.